Where are you right now?
I'm in Berlin right now. Just like winding down. I mean, Christmas is around the corner, which hasn't
Isn't
registered for
that
me at all.
so
It's
crazy?
crazy. The
Like
year
I
is
I got
basically
home from the
over.
tour yesterday,
Mm.
and this is I also had a tour like a bigger headline tour um, last year that also ended on the same date, ironically. And then we came home, we hosted all of our families at our
Oh,
house, and I said, we're never doing that again. Like we are never like that was the dumbest, most stressful. And then here we are, we're doing it again. I'm like, what the fuck happened? So I have to today. I'm just running around trying to get stockings and a Christmas tree and like order the
oh
turkey
God.
and figure stocking stuff.
You
I'm
should
just
get your
like,
family to do that. If they're visiting, they can at least take care of the Christmas tree.
do
Isn't
you
that a
think
deal?
so? Because like I feel like I would love that to be the deal, but I feel like they're coming, and also they don't come till the 23rd, and then it's like, what, you only have a tree, and I have to leave on the 27th. So I was like, okay, anyways, this is
Damn.
the most boring thing. What are you doing for Christmas?
No,
Anything?
I completely. I mean, I am being the opposite. I am the one that is just shamelessly inviting myself into my mom's home and
You're
eating all of her
so
food and letting her take care of the Christmas tree and all of that. So, on
Because
that
like okay,
like
so
side of things,
I
it's
I
very
wanted to do
chill.
that so bad, but we've been gone. I've been on the road for 3 months, and I was just like, I just want to be at home. But what I really want to do is just like go to somebody else's house and just show up,
It's so
bring
good.
a bottle of wine, leave when I want, and not have to do.
Exactly.
Good for you. I hope you enjoy every
Well,
second
do
of it.
that next year. Let's manifest that for next year.
Yeah, I'm
We
100%
are
doing that.
shamelessly taking advantage of other people next year, at least for Christmas. Only for Christmas.
I mean, some people genuinely love hosting. I think I
I
can't
think
wait
if
for.
you're not stressed and
Yes,
they're not
I was just
coming
gonna
off of a
say
tour,
I
it's
can't
a
wait
different
for the
thing.
period of my life where I have more space and energy for those kinds of things because I actually love Christmas and I love being Santa and but it just is really hard when you're like barely able to wipe your own ass is what I feel
Yeah.
like that's where I'm at right now.
Honestly, I so feel and I feel like it never is talked about and underestimated a lot, just the physical strain that touring or not sleeping and being in a different, city every day is, and how long really the recovery time is. Like when I
Okay,
come
so
off of a tour, it's like a week of me just being basically like a human shell, not being able to do even the like simplest tasks, and everything
wait,
being just so overwhelming, and no one talks about it, and that's why we kind of
this
forget
makes me
about it.
feel so much better that you just said that because I'm like, Leah, how long do you need? So I got home. So I got home technically like Saturday at like 1 a.m. I slept for 14 hours. Okay.
Wow.
Sunday, I woke up, was up for not that long, went back to bed, slept for another 14 hours. Monday, I was like, okay, you're a lazy piece of shit, which is my internal talk voice. You really need to work
Yeah,
on that.
I feel you.
And, felt like I needed to start doing things. But like my nervous system, my like readjusting into like life, just like, loading the dishwasher and everything feels so weird and I sort of feel like a little bit depressed and this like big letdown and I cannot get myself to do uh, anything like in fact this I was like oh I can't do an interview today but then I saw it was you and I was like okay I could do this one but I just feel like yeah what is I feel like I'm not giving myself the grace enough time because I feel like 2 days of sleeping all day like you should be fine like get your ass out of bed but I don't feel fine I feel really weird.
Yeah. No, I think as artists or as workaholics, I feel like we all have a tendency to just always overwork ourselves and also not kind of see and acknowledge that what we're doing is work, even though it is doing what we love. And I think that's why it's hard for us to kind of accept the just the exhaustion and everything and allow ourselves to rest and also allow ourselves to not be doing anything for once in our lives.
Dude,
Because that's just, capitalism, hustle culture, that like
it's
need to be productive, that expectation, especially as, someone that's self-employed and kind of doing their own
totally
thing. And
and
it's so
even
toxic. And in a way, it's
it's
like, it's depressing. I completely feel you. Like you just feel like I feel like a failure a lot of the times when like even the simplest things you cannot do and any other normal human being would be able to do them.
like
But
I
they're
keep
just in a
watching
different
TV
state.
shows where like the mom is like I'm watching Modern Family, and like all I'm thinking about is like, because like that's like yesterday. That's the only thing or
I've never
Sunday.
watched it, but I
Okay,
think I know what it is.
I mean, it's like it's great because it's just like it's a snapshot into like the most like heteronormative like white culture. It's like it's just like it's like it numbs your brain, and that's all I want. And but while I was watching on Sunday, all I kept thinking is like, how does this mom have so much energy? Like she's like one of those moms who's like getting our kids to everything and PTA meetings and like also like and it made me I just am like I can't ever imagine having energy for anything. And I know that this is like however I feel right now is usually like I'm gonna feel like this forever, but it just like that's all I could think about the whole show is like wow, like these people who have normal lives, who sleep normal hours, who stay in the same city, like they're just able to like even like going on a walk I found extremely difficult. Like they're able to just do things, and it rocked my world.
Feel you. But sleep is like I don't know, they're like one of the best books I've ever read is Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker.
Oh, that book. I'm terrified to read that because I feel like it will actually like
it completely. I mean, I still am doing this job for some reason. I guess ignorance is bliss. But after that, it just shows you basically how sleep is the entirety of what holds everything together, mental to physical to everything. And after you read that, you understand that even just being on a weekend of no sleep, how long you still have to recover from that, and how the effects of that are really
I'm on like 2 months.
So far, I know. And that's what I mean. Like now the point where you're at, the sleep debt that you have, it's like even if you're not aware of it mentally, I guess, rationally, it's there. And it shows itself in, in not being able to do anything basically, or being like not, I always just feel numb. Like I feel like I'm just inhabiting this thing, but I don't have I can't feel emotions really. I'm just a wall. Super
oh my God,
apathetic.
that is so it. I feel so numb and dissociative and and also foggy.
Yeah. No, same. And I trust me, it'll go away if you do. I don't know how long your break is, but it's not a forever thing. But it will take its time.
Do you give yourself breaks? Because
I'm really bad at that also. But it came to a point where end of last year, because I had also been touring back to back to back. And then on my one weekend off, I just fainted. Like I lost like sensation and like first my limbs, and then I was just out. And again, I was like, I was gone for like 5 minutes. I was at a restaurant with my family. And then after that, again, I was like, whatever. Like I woke back up, like let's get back to work. Everything's good. And then my family, like my mom forced me to be like, no, you need to check it out. Like what actually is the real reason behind this? And every doctor that I went to, they were all just like, it's stress, it's sleep deprivation, it's burnout, I guess. Like it's nothing,
which
not
is
a condition or anything. It's so real, and it's not talked about ever. And then after that, I was like, okay, what do I do with this information? Like because I had a similar thing where I was kind of like, okay, then I'll go on a little vacation and like heal, and like I'll be back to full power after 2 weeks of being at the beach. Didn't work because I ended up just stressing. Like it was even more stressful. I'm like a person, I cannot be at a beach and be vacationing if I'm mentally not there, because it's stressing me out even more to kind of be in like so immobile and like just not capable of it's not able to do all the things that I know need to be done.
Doing the opposite of
exactly. So I knew I couldn't just do that again. So what I did was I really took I gave myself a month, but I was like maybe I'll extend it of like really no meetings, no shows, no Instagram, no social media, no internet, just complete,
no internet.
Yeah, I was really extreme. Complete isolation, complete just like sitting with my thoughts, having a routine, sleeping, and kind of just like feeling how that feels.
Where were you living?
I was in LA, which was definitely the better place to be doing something like that.
Wait, this is fucking... Okay, I'm freaking out right now. What did you do with your time?
It was so scary. Like I counterintuitively, like I thought doing nothing would be the easiest thing in the world. Like to be able to not constantly distract yourself and like micromanage and problem solve is probably the hardest thing ever, because it really forces you to sit with your emotions, sit with your thoughts, and really just exist.
I'm reading literally 3 books on how to do nothing right now. Yeah, it's
Are they any good? Because I need to
there's
learn
one
that also.
that is incredible that I'll recommend to you. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Wait, so how long did it take for you to?
And then like after, I would say like 1 or 2 weeks were like so just painful. Like I just could not deal like this. Like it was like I was just still in that hamster wheel mentality. Couldn't get out of it. But then after 2 weeks, and then also for me, which was really interesting, which was kind of like a Germans love like facts and everything, and like real things, really prove things. And I had digestion issues right before I did it. I didn't have my period. All of those things, like those like really like factful things that you can like bodily like
in 6 months. Yep.
Yeah,
terrifying.
same. I have it back now. I'll send you, maybe it's, I don't know if it's placebo, but I didn't have it for 3 years, and then I started taking this, it's like an herb. It's called Mönchspfeffer. I'll look it up what it is in English. But after that, like after I started taking that, it like came back. I don't know if it's just a coincidence, but that was like really mind-blowing to me. It's supposed to like, it's been around for female hormonal things for forever. I'll send you a link.
Yeah, will you please? Okay, so
but yeah, so it took 2 weeks, and then after that, my digestion was, I got my period back. My digestion was completely normal. I also like for the first time ever, like ever since I started this job, started making music, because what I was really scared of was through all this, just through having music as my job, I feel like I had kind of lost that spark. That came back to me after the 2 weeks of doing nothing, and that was probably to me the most impactful of the entire experience, because I also didn't force myself to make music in that time. Like I was like, because music is work, right? So I was like, okay, don't do anything. And I was just curious if it would ever naturally come back the way it did when I first started out. And after like the 2-3 weeks, it was beautiful. Like I was starting to have the urge to express myself through music again, through different art forms, but mainly music. And that in a way like changed my entire, I guess, just well-being, because I think that's what I was really suffering from the most, and like that just lack of, I guess, not identity, but like maybe like authentically and with intent, like doing what I want to do with intention. And
dude, you are speaking to me so intensely. I feel like I'm gonna cry right now. So, because I have not like, I'll have to do a remix, or I'll have to like, but I haven't had like this excitement to go in the studio and like I have an idea and I want to make it. It's like trying to pull. It is like the most brutal battle, and it didn't used to be like that.
I feel you.
And I feel like I'm just playing.
It's like a chore.
Not off it. Yes, it is a fucking chore. And I'm like, how long have I been in here? Okay, like the excitement is, oh my god, it's like really.
I feel you. Like that's where, yeah, I know, and I think that's honestly the most defeating as an artist, also on the entire system, mentally and physically. Like not having your purpose, I think, in line or naturally. I don't know. Wow, those balloons are not fitting at all.
Okay.
No, but I completely feel you, and I think like not to be like that's really what helped me, just doing nothing and kind of just allowing all of it to come only from a place of kind of pure, I don't know, necessity, I guess, in the end.
So like literally
removing all the expectations, removing all the other people, all the money, all the other million things, tugging on you as a creative, and you like
really actually held strong in like no meetings. I'm not gonna, no internet. Like okay, like walk me through a day.
I would wake up, go on a walk, listen to music. I would listen to a lot of music, and journal. I journaled a lot. I feel like I like filled maybe a book like that was this thick within like in that 1 month, because there's nothing else you can really do. And yeah, I would just, it sounds like the most boring day ever. Cook some meals, do like the random things, like do my laundry, go grocery shop, like the like super simple, mundane things.
You weren't like working on something outside of music. Like you weren't like,
nope. I was working on myself. That's the,
So after 2 weeks, you sort of started to feel a natural. After a month, how did you integrate this into
see,
your life?
that was where I think I kind of like, because you know how Grammys week is in beginning of February in
Yeah.
LA. So I kind of made that my reintroduction into the real world.
What a
Which,
full steam ahead.
looking back, I was like, this is the worst way you could have possibly done it. But I did, like, I have to say, like, it was a shock. Wait, I remember one thing because I had to be on social media one day of January because Coachella was announced, and they were like, I don't know if you probably know this, they forced everyone to like
Yeah.
announce on one day. So I had to open Instagram for that one day, and it was like I remember sitting in my room and being so unused, like I'd kind of forgotten that feeling that opening the app made me shake, and it was like it was so just I was being bombarded with all these million things. Obviously, if you're not on there also for a bit, stuff, piles up. And I remember that being like kind of like a wake-up call to like if your canvas is so blank, you become so hyper aware of every little single stressor and the impact that it has. Like normally if I open Instagram during a day-to-day, I don't notice all the stress that it causes me, obviously, because I'm
it's so
stressed
normal.
with a million
Yeah.
other things. So that was really like, so that just, I don't know, I became like really just conscious of the effect that even such a small thing as Instagram has on me. So with that in mind, I tried to be mindful going back into the world. Obviously, there's no, like, I feel like I'm very sensitive. So the smallest things will stress me out. So I knew I was like, there was no way I was going to have it be an easy, stress-free and like re-entry. And I definitely did it too extremely where all of my digestion, like it all completely flared back up again the week after I entered back in. And then I was like, honestly, that was a pretty helpless situation to be in because I knew how to heal my body and my mind. Like I knew what the issue was, but then I was also caught in just this being my life and my job. And I just obviously no way of always not doing anything. And like, I was left wondering, how do I, like, is there even a way to kind of marry the two worlds? And I still haven't figured it out. Like I would definitely say now I'm back to definitely being a lot more stressed. Than I was in January.
Okay,
but
well, sorry, not to interrupt you, but I just want to say I'm so inspired by by the fact that you are even trying this, that you even did the hardest thing that I think and somebody who's driven and self-employed could possibly do. And the smartest thing though that you could do, it's like so counterintuitive, but it's so obvious, and I just want to like commend you for that.
Thank you so much.
My cortisol, my doctor's like, if you don't get your cortisol under control, you'll get to a point where you can't get out of bed. And I'm just continuing to not listen to him, and I like this is like really, really, really inspiring to me. And I do believe that if you can do that first step, that you'll be able to, and maybe it's a yin yang. It's like, see how far you can go, and then once you're like, I'm at my wit's end of the feeling overstimulated, I'm gonna schedule in these breaks and maybe do them more often or something.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like, fuck, I don't. Please keep me updated on how you're.
We both need to just completely disappear off the face of the earth for a bit.
Like I said, I'm not touring for a month, mid-Jan to mid-February. I'm not touring for most of April and most of May, but I am scheduling the shit out of those months. So now I'm like, because I just think like, okay, at least I will be getting consistent sleep, but maybe I should use one of those to just.
I think you should, and I think January is, I think like the beginning of the year is probably the best time. I mean, maybe it's a bit too short notice at this point, but I think it's so important, at least like once, a year, to really do it, at least a couple of weeks, the longer the better, of complete stillness. And to then, charge your batteries and just, I do think it recharged my batteries in a way where for me to reach the level that I was at in December of 2023, like that, I'm definitely not at that level anymore because I'm now aware of it, and because I was able to recharge, and because I am
down bad.
I mean, I can understand. I mean, the tour was crazy, and
When did
all
you
of
make
it
Wasser?
probably. See, I made that exactly during that time. That's what it. I mean, I could go so into
That is
everything.
all I needed to hear. That is literally. Like,
That's
people
what I'm
have been
telling you
me-
about,
people have been
like,
telling me you
musical
have to take a break,
authenticity.
you
Yeah.
have to take a break. But hearing that is all.
It was honestly like I don't want to read too much into it, but the music that I've been making ever since then has been resonating so much more with everyone. And I think at the end of the day, with music is just capturing a feeling. There's no way, there's no formula to understand what connects with people and what doesn't. And I think what really like so much of it is just with what intention you make it, and if you make it out of an authentic, genuine place. And you can't force that. You can't, it's not like any other office job where the more work you put in, the better it gets, the more time you put in, the better it gets. I feel like most of the times, like the really good songs are like take me a matter of 10 minutes because it's just an energy that is captured. And
the last time I went into the studio with like this idea in my head, I can't even, like now I go and I'm just like doing loops until maybe something happens. But last time I was like, oh, I have an idea that I really want to capture. I can't. It was literally
You're excited about it. Wow. Yeah. That's, I mean, I feel like I was definitely at that, but I think you just admitting that to yourself is already, takes a lot of
so sad
self-reflection.
Wow, I'm
it's
so
not
inspired
sad.
I'm so inspired by your story. And like it takes so much guts to do that because it is scary, like am I letting other people down, or what opportunities am I passing on, or like, and I realize how stupid is that, because none of this matters if you don't have joy and excitement and creativity and like but it's still so scary.
I know, but I think what you need to remind yourself is the world is gonna keep turning. Whatever you do, there's always gonna be something to do, some important thing, blah blah. But even if you don't take that thing that month, it'll probably be there still the next month or something similar. Like, as they say, if one door closes, another one opens. Like, it's really not. I think that mentality of, oh my God, I'm missing out. Like, I have to be constantly available, constantly sending so that I stay relevant and all of that. While that is, what's taught, I don't think.
Who the fuck cares if I'm not making music I like or I'm connected to or I'm excited about it? Literally, who cares? Go take any other job.
Exactly. That's
I'm
the thing.
so impressed with you. Wow, to hear an artist whose music I love, who I deeply respect, say that is like, I mean, my fiance's like, what will it take for you? And like, this might have been it. This is the best conversation I've had. Thank you so much. I now need to get into your, like, I'm going to read your, I hope we just use this as the interview, but I'm going to read your bio because it's so impressive. I'll ask you a few questions, but I'm already just like, I was obsessed with you before, but I am so inspired by you. Wow.
I'm obsessed with you. Thank you so much. No, honestly, I think these conversations are like people, like artists especially, have them way too little because, again, that hustle, mentality, like lifestyle is just so glamorized.
I'm so much more busier than you, and I'm so much more, but it's so, it's starting to it physically makes me feel sick. When I see on somebody's Instagram, it's starting to like really, really physically affect me.
No, I'm the same. Like no, it's, I think it's all like, I think by it being the ideal and us, everyone kind of pushing it on social media more and more, that like whole facade or that world, like no one really is, everyone's scared to dig deeper, like dig deep into, what do you call it, like below the surface. And that's the part that really fucks me up the most. Like, when did we forget? Like, why are we not openly talking about how we feel anymore? Why are we all trying to chase this ideal to fit in or whatever, when really we're all suffering from it, like under it so much, but by feeding the machine, making it worse.
Totally. Yeah. And the scariest thing you could do is just sit with yourself, and like you did that. Like, and how sad is it that is the scariest thing? Oh my God. I am. I mean, so funny. I've read all the books on doing nothing and like all those like, but I haven't done shit. But one of them.
I don't say that. I think just mentally, like even like thinking, like reflecting is already doing a lot. Do you journal?
Okay, so I used to be, I would never start a day without my morning pages, like 3 pages of just journaling before I got out of bed. And since I would say like when things started getting like really out of control and like I was only playing defense, not offense in my life, and I just sort of felt like I was being moved around, and I've stopped.
Damn. Just probably when it would have been the best to keep going.
100%. And I keep like I had this like I use legal pads, and like there's one that I used to go through a legal pad like every fucking 2 weeks, and there's one that I haven't finished since 2023, and I'm like, what is it going to take? Because like I knew that would make me feel better. That was like a grounding for me. Like, what? Just fucking do it. It's so.
Yeah. Well, you know it. I think maybe just placing it next, like back on your bedside table, or just surrounding the opportunity without obviously building too much pressure.
3 pages. Like now I'm like, okay, just actually start today with like write 10 things that you're grateful for. Like just start.
Yeah.
I think
just whatever. Like it can. I'm the like I used to have a bullet journal, and I was so like just annoying about it being so perfect and aesthetic and all of that it ended up stressing me out more than not dealing with it at all. So at this point, they're just again like such a I don't know perfectionist way of doing things. Like even journaling.
Dude, I feel like we're the same person, except you're like more evolved. So
kind
I can't like
I would not
see you
say
in
that.
my future, and I am excited.
Please don't.
Okay.
Okay, let's get to them.
Let's do this. You're listening to Femme House Radio. With
Therapy session is over.
You are listening to Femme House Radio with your host, LP Giobbi. This week, we are in for a treat with one of my favorite artists and human doing the damn thing right now. Joplyn is a singing electronic live act from Berlin, creating her own unique melodic house / techno / electronica, also known as the girl with the 2 dots, for the prominent 2 dots that sit on her cheekbones. She has been remixed by electronic heavyweights such as Booka Shade, Damian Lazarus, MK, Jan Blomqvist, Rodriguez Jr., Hosh, Adana Twins, and released on labels such as Watergate Records, Crosstown Rebels, Get Physical, and her very own None of the Above Berlin in the past. Throughout her 120-plus live shows, she has been invited to play alongside and share the stage with such artists like Rufus Du Sol, Monolink, Adriatic, Booka Shade, Jan Blomqvist, Julia Anasia, and most recently with me on my The Way Back Home tour, where I saw firsthand her deep impact on the dance floor. She's had Ibiza residencies at High Club Ibiza, Black Coffee, Damian Lazarus, and Cova Santa, Woo Moon Ibiza. April 2024 marked a highlight for her as she got to play Coachella for the first time. Additionally, Joplyn is the German ambassador for the Spotify Equal campaign. Among other things, Equal showcases specific female artists, including her, with a billboard feature on Times Square, and she has given various workshops and keynote speeches for Ableton, Beatport, Spotify, IMS, and ADE. Joplyn, you're a fucking badass. Welcome to Femme House Radio.
Thank you so much. I don't know what to say. Hi, what's up?
Very impressive. So tell us your origin story. How did you get into producing, DJing, putting together a live electronic show? How did that path form for you?
I think it was definitely growing up in Berlin that kind of veered me towards the electronic world of music. I did grow up very typically Asian, learning the piano at I think age 5 was when did you start? What age?
Second grade. So is that 5? I think it's around the same age.
I think 5. You're not in first. I think you were a little older then, but I stopped when I was 10 because I had a crazy Russian piano teacher who would slap my fingers if I didn't play. What's that right? So yeah, that was mildly traumatic. And yeah, but I've always been singing, writing. I actually wrote poetry way before I really wrote songs, but then I remember just being able to play the piano and just use my voice, and I decided to combine the two with the lyrics or the poems that I was writing anyway. So in the beginning it was very abstract, I guess, poems at the piano. But then I started nerding into, classical song structure. What are the rules of songwriting, music making? So that was the first thing I did. And then I think again, like growing up in Berlin, at some point everyone around you is DJing, you start going out, you like Ableton or were my next door neighbors. I didn't know them back then, but it's just like it's such a small, I don't know, scene at the end of the day. And also kind of there's a four to the floor, like just thumping out of every little nook and cranny of the city that it becomes so second nature. So I started incorporating that into my little songs. I was on GarageBand first, and then I found Ableton pretty quickly. And yeah, ever since then, like I remember it was COVID, and I started just, hanging around Berlin, meeting people, and through that met the first people that really ever gave me chances, which were Booker Shade and then Jan Blomqvist, and started, having my first releases with them. Also, starting during COVID was definitely a weird time to start playing live when there were literally no in-person shows allowed. So I remember my first ever show was like a streaming virtual show, which is even more nerve-wracking if you've never ever done it, because all of that is so microscopic, obviously. If there's a huge camera in front of your face, everything's recorded. Normally, if you make a mistake, people forget about it, it's in the moment. In that case, nope, that's on the internet forever. So that was a really, I don't know, surreal way to set foot into the live world. But then I remember my first ever show that I did with a real crowd was in Istanbul with Jan Blomqvist. And that was really, I think, one of the most beautiful and eye-opening experiences I'd ever had, because I hadn't played live before, and just to, I don't know, you know how it feels, like being up there on that stage is probably the most inspiring thing that exists in the world.
So life-affirming.
Yeah. And it's such a give and take, just being together in the moment, and nothing else really matters. And I think I got addicted after that. And that it is
still the biggest drug on the planet. That's why after this tour, I feel like I'm literally coming down off a drug. I totally get that. So you DJ and you have a live setup. When do you? A few questions. When do you decide which one, when to DJ versus when to do your live show, and what is the setup of your live show?
Okay. So normally I started DJing at the very beginning just out of logistical reasons, because, traveling with I don't travel with, trucks and everything, but, even my live setup it all fits into one carry-on, but it is way overweight, and in Europe, they take that very seriously, so the amount of times that I have had to run away from flight attendants is... we shouldn't talk about it. But yeah, so in the beginning I was just DJing because it's much easier. I was hybrid DJing. Exactly. So I had a USB stick and a preamp and a reverb and a mic, but still that was nothing compared to, what I travel with nowadays. But then at some point I think I was also speaking with my agents and a lot of, friends, people in the business about it. I think in the beginning I really wanted, I asked myself, at heart, am I a live act or am I a DJ? And I felt like I wanted to decide and really send one clear message, at least in the beginning, while I'm just orienting myself and people are maybe getting to know me for the first time. So I decided to go with the live show, even though, as I said, it's a lot more effort and everything. And sometimes it's also you do ask yourself, why do I sound check and bring all this stuff if I'm in a club at 3 a.m. and maybe people wouldn't really tell the difference if I was just if I was DJing. But I don't know, I do it. I always like to say I do it for myself. I do it for the 10% who care. And I just feel a lot more like I can express myself, I guess, more authentically through my live setup. So yeah, I was playing live shows only for the last 3 years. And then the first DJ set was actually with you, the first DJ set back.
Wait, that is incredible, because
it's crazy,
crushed that. It was so fun being with you.
It was
you were,
so good.
And I mean, wow, your courage and your insane. So, just really quickly back to your live setup. What can you explain to the audience? What is the gear? What is the setup?
Yes. So I first of all have my laptop with Ableton Live running on it, where I, have either stems or the, fully mixed tracks, masters. It always just depends. I like have two different, I color code it. So there's like red is just stem jams, and then the other colors are my songs, instrumentals. And then I have like the main core piece of my live set is still the mixer, the DJ mixer.
Okay.
So that's the A9 nowadays, or the Nexus 2, or even the V10, like whatever,
Yeah.
whichever mixer they have. Because I do, the live set is set up as kind of a DJ set where the beat never really stops. Like I mix the tracks into each other.
And are you in clip mode or arrangement mode in Ableton Live?
I'm in clip mode.
Wow.
So yeah, exactly. I have all the clips, scenes, and all of that.
And
On
do you have
there.
a controller to trigger it?
Yes, and then I have the mini APC to trigger everything, and also to like, for example, I have a couple like buttons on there. For example, I can turn my synth into an arpeggiator with one of the buttons. What else do I have on there? Like little things. I'll have the tempo slider also on there, which is of course very important. I wish Ableton had a bigger tempo screen. Like the amount of times that because I have one song where I do a tempo change in the middle of it, and I would type in the tempo because I couldn't slide it because I couldn't see it. And it was supposed to go, from 124 to 127. I ended up typing in a 7 too much, so it was 1,277 BPM. And that was definitely a crazy drop. It was avant-garde, I would say.
Oh,
Most insane drop I ever did.
But cool?
No. I'm not even going to pretend it was a big, no, I'm not doing that again.
You know what is cool about that, though, is that people know you're fucking playing live.
That's true.
And that's fucking rad.
Things like that happen, and it's so okay. Then I have the vocoder, or it's the Roland VT4, Voice Transformer 4. You can like switch up the formant, the pitch, and then you can use the vocoder. I have that connected via Ableton to my little MIDI keyboard, which is probably the smallest MIDI keyboard there is. Oh God, I always forget the name of it. I would have to look that back up, but it's tiny. And I also have a couple, like I use the keyboard also to play synths and whatever. And then what else do I have? I have one more, but that's a new addition. I have like just a little MIDI controller now because I finally found a way, because I completely forgot. I have the Apollo Twin X as like my audio interface to put my mic in. And that's where I like use the reverb and everything from. And then I found, because I had never found a way to kind of, I always would have loved to like use the UAD effects with a controller, but there was never a way. So I always had to use the mouse pad, which is again like the most impractical way to do anything. But now there's a plugin that I found, I don't know if it's been around, where you can control the UAD plugins through MIDI, which has been life-changing.
Shit, this is amazing.
I'll send it to you. It's so good. So now I have that. So now I got a little controller additionally, because I have a tape echo now, and then some like just a longer reverb, and then like some other, I have like a distortion thing which always feedbacks, so I never use it. But like I have a couple of vocal effects now on there which I can like just trigger and like, you know, like, I don't know, send my voice into like a long reverb or delay.
So sick.
Which is so cool just with the controller. But then like the main voice effects I use are really the mixer effects. So I'll use the slip roll, I'll use the trans, like the chopper effects.
Slip roll on your vocals?
It's so cool. It's, yeah.
Oh my God, what? That sounds incredible. And
it's so much fun.
In this set, are you playing all original? Like this is all Joplyn music? Like you never throw in?
I don't know. I do throw in like random loops sometimes if I'm feeling extra fun. And then I'll like jam with it, which is also the most fun thing to do.
So you're able to do this sort of in a controlled improvisational way? Yeah.
Yeah, I build these little like jam stations almost in there. And it's so much fun because I have a bunch of like also old chops, old like, I don't know, bass lines, old grooves that I never used. And I'll just, you know, cut them into a little loop and throw them in there. And then sometimes, like, you know, with live sets or with any sets, like you're never perfect on time. You have time to kill sometimes. You like need to skip a song and like do something else. So like that's when I'll probably jump into something like that and just play around for a bit. And so often those little like bits actually turn into songs, which is obvious. I mean, you're in the most inspiring place in the world. I have my studio set up like that. My live set is also my studio. Like I don't have a real studio. So I'm basically in the studio with a bunch of, people in front of me, hearing it all over a pretty like a loud, good speaker system probably.
This is
And
incredible.
I just like mess around a lot. And then if things stick, all I have to do is kind of capture it in the studio, which is a different, as opposed to actually creating from scratch and making in the studio. So that's been really fun to kind of bring the creative process.
With you. I just like, literally like
I'm obsessed with you.
Like I already was so in love with you, and then the beginning of our conversation just floored me, and now it's unhealthy. Okay, we have to wrap this up, but I
Yes.
just wanted to call this out. Your mix that you made for the show that we are in the middle of is an all-female mix where you even played around putting some of your vocal stems over a few of my tracks, and the snippets I heard sent me. Oh my God.
Yes.
So this is one of the most thoughtful mixes we've had on Femme House Radio. I would love to hear some of your favorite tracks by female artists that are featured in this mix so that we can give them their damn flowers.
Yes. I mean, it's all of the tracks. It's it's all friends and like women I just admire, as human beings and as musicians and as everything. So wait, am I allowed to look?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
I don't want to forget anyone.
Let's call out one or two. I just think it's so cool that you've done this.
Okay, I'm going to call out everyone because it's really not that many.
I love that.
Okay, so first of all, it's So Me. It's her remix of Amtrak's Dancing With You. She's a good friend. Love her. Then there's this artist called LP Giobbi. She's
heard
like
that
the
bitch.
super obscure. No, love her. And so I used your song Succession, and then I added this
I love
like
that you did that.
chant that
It sounded so good. The clip you sent me, I'm like,
it's
we
from
gotta
my
put this
song
out.
I Won't Stay, and I was like, okay, it's already in the same key, like this is begging to be put together. So that's what I did, and yeah, I'm still working on it, but it sounded so cool. Then I have Nala on there, also a good friend from LA, love her. And then Azeka Ali,
Oh, hell yeah.
love her too. And then Joyce Muniz and Sarah Bluma, who are also good friends, and whose song I remember dropping at your show, and people went batshit crazy.
Hell yes.
So that's all of them. And then I have a couple ones of, ours. Or I guess mine, I have Vasa on there, which I know you love. And then, and then for Carolyn, for yours, I also added parts of my song, All I Really Want, which also kind of worked, even though it's like not officially the right key and everything, but
it felt
worked.
so good. I was like, whoa, you picked my Succession and Caroline are my two favorite songs off the album. So
Really?
I felt
Wow.
so.
I'm telling you, we're the same person. It's
I'm
official now.
fucking telling you. Okay, thank you so much for being a guest on Femme House Radio.
Thank you
I
so much
adore
for
you.
everything.
I know that we have an album to look forward to in 2025 from you. Femme House Radio listeners, Joplyn is the truth. She is absolutely incredible as a human, as a live artist, as a DJ, as electronic music producer, as a singer. Do not sleep on her. She is incredible. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me.